Okay, so we're going to go in depth with our EQualizer Incline push-up variation. So I'm going to show you all kinds of cool stuff. It'll keep you engaged and interested, and most importantly, challenged with all these cool moves. Let's start with the basics though. The setup for the equalizers. If you don't know, my name's Marc Lebert. I invented these about 25 years ago and brought them to market and know a thing or two. So they come as two separate bars, and that was by design. I wanted them to move to create immediate biofeedback. So for push-ups, for example, the equalizers I want to be a training tool and a teaching tool. So the equalizers are going to be touching at the top here, open at the bottom, so we have this V-shaped position. And in this position, I'm going to have my hands on the outside edge, very ergonomically comfortable, and get into a high plank. Now, there's so much we can cover with just the positioning of the equalizers, the positioning of our body. Let's start with a couple things. One is, this is called an equalizer incline chest press, even though technically I'm pushing down. So it's based on the positioning of the body. And what I want you to do is make sure that your body is not back here. I want to make sure that you're over top of the equalizers, okay? So I'm on my toes a little bit, quads, glutes, abs are tight, lats are on, and I'm going to be pushing down and in to the equalizer. So I want to push down and in. So we want to go like this whenever we're doing push-ups. If they move, that immediately tells you that you're not doing the exercise correctly. So pushing down and in fixes that immediately, and puts your shoulders in a good strong position so we're not winging out, no chicken wings. Down and in, equalizers here, puts the elbows here, 15 degrees off my rib cage, and then my shoulders are in a nice strong position. And then when I'm pushing in, not only am I pushing down and in, but that motion of pushing in creates a little bit of a chest fly as well. So I go down and get a nice stretch, and then strong and contract. So down into the bottom of the equalizer incline chest press, okay? Now you can see, tightening everything up here, making sure it's done right for camera, and squeezing in towards center. Down, woo, and squeeze. Now a lot of times when people do push-ups, there's a bounce factor. It's almost like with a lot of their exercises, they're doing plyometrics. Plyometrics aren't just for the ground and our legs. It happens a lot when we curl and bounce out of the bottom of a movement. Same with push-ups. We're using the elastic stretch energy in the ligaments and tendons, as opposed to focusing on what's supposed to be happening here in a push-up is we want to stress, focus on, and make the chest, the prime mover for push-ups, do all the work, or at least as much work as possible. So obviously we're gonna feel our front delts, we're gonna feel our core, we're gonna feel our triceps and our lats a little bit. So, but the main thing is we wanna put all the focus into the chest, squeezing in towards center, okay? So what I love about this particular exercise is that it can be both a regression and a progression. A regression meaning if I'm trying to do push-ups on the floor, which by the way, this is in other videos, use the equalizers for a whole variety of reasons, okay? If you're gonna do push-ups off the floor, that is very tough for a lot of people. If I get them up off the floor into this position, they will feel a little more comfortable, a little more confident, and a little more successful. Now, they might not be able to go down and back up. They might do this, down, put a leg in front to self-spot, and then up. So down, stretch, and then squeeze. Stretch and squeeze, making sure the weight's forward, making sure I'm looking straight out there, okay, not straight down, not too high up. So just out on this angle here, just out in front of the T-legs. So everything is nice and straight from my head to my tailbone, okay, right to my heels. Now, You can hinge at the hips a little bit. Sometimes I see people, they're just getting used to it and they're a little bit more like this. I'm okay, they're getting down. Drive the arms in towards center, supinate, and really feel that chest squeeze. I'm okay with that. I prefer this way, longer lever, and really, really feeling it. Okay, so my number one progression is find an exercise that you can do, let's say incline chest press, before I show you all the crazy stuff. Incline chest press is where you're at, you can get 10 reps. My favorite progression is just simply volume. Get 10 reps, stretch, squeeze, and rest, and go again. Okay, so your 10 reps, maybe rest 30 seconds, 45 seconds a minute, get another set, and do 10 sets, right? You're gonna feel that the next day. Or pair it with a calisthenic exercise like jumping jacks, get the heart rate up, or superset it with some rows, equalizer rows, okay? Let's get into some progressions. Really simple, we're gonna lift one leg off the ground. So I'm gonna come in, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, single leg, knee drive, woo, knee drive. And those would be simple ways to use our feet to change unilaterally our balance, so our hip flexors and core working a bit more, but also putting more emphasis on the forward movement and the downward portion of the range of motion for the chest to really, really feel it. It's as simple as that. I can do a regular incline chest press for 10, add knee drive, and now 10 is going to be a challenge. Looks simple, sometimes simple works best, okay? So those are single leg, Spider-Man, knee drive. Now we can go from side to side. So we come down into one side, load, come across, press out, come down, cross, and press out. Really simple movement, but really almost unilaterally stressing out the one side, okay? And that can progress into what we call a Gökhan push-up, which is our master trainer in Turkey showed me this when we were at a trade show together in Germany, and I was blown away. All the years of having equalizers, I never even thought of it. So I've named it after him, but because I never pronounce his name right, we'll just call it a G push-up for my man in Turkey. The G, the OG, down. Other side, down. Other side. Very challenging. Not that most people probably aren't strong enough to do it, it's just getting the mechanics proper. So the mechanics are simply, when I'm coming down in the push-up, I'm lengthening and I'm really pushing down hard, focusing on activating my lats. So I'm pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. If you find it hard, self-spot, like I mentioned earlier. So down, left side is close to left side, right side stretching, down. Right side is close to right side, left side stretching. So practice that simple regression and then work your way up to the progression of the Gökhan push-ups. Woo! 1 and 2. Now, if you want to do push-ups on the equalizers with your feet off the floor, just like anytime we have our feet off the floor, I want your hands in the middle on the foam pads. Just grabbing a chair. And what I like to do with this one is, it just feels cool to be up here. Again, pressing down and in, get a nice stretch, tighten my abs. And 2 and 3. So you can have your feet up behind you on a bench, and then maybe a plyo box, and then like I had mine up on a chair, okay? That's an easy way to progress your push-ups, almost like doing push-ups on the ground, but just a little bit of a different feel. Now, if I want, I can go from here and do a knee drive. 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see You can see I'm working really hard on those. That knee drive puts all the weight forward onto the chest, way less weight back here on the chair, almost akin to doing a kind of like a tuck dip or a tuck planche. Very difficult. I love it as a progression for those calisthenics moves. So those are some ideas for EQualizer incline chest press. We're going to come at you now with some more ideas for EQualizer rows, because my one EQualizer row video, I didn't share a ton of variations. I just went more through setup and proper form, but I'll give you on the next video a ton of EQualizer row variations. That's